Well, boys, I finished for Christmas.
Well done. I'm still working.
So am I, you lucky bastard.
At the time of recording, uh, it's still the
It's
19th
part-timers.
of December, but still, it's nice knowing I've got a few days to relax, unwind, see you two. We'll be having our podcast meal. There will be pictures up. They'll be up before this episode is out anyway, so you'll see our beautiful faces at that meal. But yeah, it's nice to have some time off before a bit more time off around this time. It's one of my favourite times to have just to unwind and relax.
You say unwind and relax, but all the time it's just like, family feuds, trying to remember, have I bought stuff for someone, and be like, oh shit, I've not done that. And then realizing that because it's a Christmas, you get paid slightly earlier, so you have to go even longer without getting paid. You've got the cost of living crisis, you've got the cold weather. I've discovered a leak in my roof. Yeah.
Damn. That escalated quickly.
Yeah, it did. Well, just do what I do, Brandon. Just don't celebrate Christmas and just sit on your own. You don't have to worry about anything. And let's tell you what, it's nice not being in debt.
You make it sound like that's so sad, but I know you're probably just chilling at home. Your parents are in like the other room or whatever. You're probably seeing your niece, and you're still having a nice time, but it's just not very. It's more just a relaxed day than anything.
It's just another day.
Yeah.
I think on Christmas Day we're going to watch the new Knives Out film because that's out.
Glass Onion.
Do it. Yeah, that's Glass Knives. What film was that? That's a weapon in Oblivion, isn't it?
I don't know.
Never mind.
That's
Never
what
mind.
it's called. Glass Onions. The
Glass Onions,
Knives Out 2. I've not even seen
Onions Out.
Onions Out. Oh, cry for crying out loud.
Oh God.
Have you all sorted all ready for Christmas?
No, I've nearly done everything. I'm still struggling to get your stuff, basically. So I've been searching and searching and searching, and there's something I want to get you, and I can't fucking find it anywhere. So I do apologise.
Yours.
Well, I've got yours.
Yeah, I mean yours came this week. No, last week, Chris. I've had yours for fucking ages, Brandon. Can't even remember what the. Oh yeah, I remember. I was like, I can't remember what one of them was, and I just remembered. I've got a few more presents to wrap, but it's just like it's mainly me being like, I can't be arsed, and I just play games.
I'm partially like that because I've still got some stuff to wrap for my family, and I'm just like, it's just there sat on the living room floor, and I'm just like, I need to wrap that.
Literally,
But at the same time, when I have work and stuff, I'm just like, I can't be bothered to wrap that.
Like yesterday, because of this episode we're recording, I was like, I need to play as many games as I fucking can. So I'm going to. I don't give a fuck about anime. I don't give a fuck about this. I'm just playing games today. And then I proceeded not to do as much, and then other things occurred. But the game I wanted to play the most, I did play a good, decent few hours of it, which was good. I was only going to play an hour, but I played a lot more. But I'll be talking about that probably in the meat of the episode. But no. Well, I guess we have a big meaty episode. Probably, we'll see.
Stop saying meaty.
Meaty. It is our game of the year.
Say oniony.
Oniony. Sorry, oniony.
It makes it sound like this episode has layers.
It has girth.
Ugh.
It's got girth like an ogre.
I don't know why, but sometimes just the word girth just makes me think, ugh.
Welcome to Victory Achieved Podcast, a video game, film, show, album, anime, manga, series. And with me as ever, as not being played by Henry Cavill, is Brandon.
Hello.
And also not being played by Henry Cavill is Dan.
Hi.
Hi.
Maybe
So,
played by Henry Cavill.
And who are you?
Margot Robbie.
All right, Chris. There you go. We got Chris. So
Right.
two
Okay.
Henry Cavills and Margot Robbie. Well, that's a strange mix.
That's a Reddit.
I don't know
waiting to
why
happen.
I do not know why that's the first actress that came into my head. I don't know. Maybe it's the whole DC thing. Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway.
I saw the best Henry Cavill meme where it's like in the span of 24 hours, it's like Superman, Witcher, and then it's just like Warhammer 40,000.
Oh, that's that one with the Homer back
Yeah,
into a hedge.
yeah.
You mean yeah, yeah, I've seen that one as well. Good one that is. Anyway, to get to the meaty and oniony part of the podcast, lads, it's the media of the year episode. It's the year end wrap up.
Game of the
Thingy
year.
me jiggy.
This is our game of the
Yes.
year. We're talking about media before we get into our games, but it is our game of the year episode where, you know, the thing that every gaming podcast does at the end of the year, they talk about games.
Essentially, it's the easy clip show version of the episode, so we don't have to do any research. We just recycle old content. It's great.
I know you're dying to know what is going to be our collective top games of this year. You'll find out. It's,
There's a lot of honourable mentions, and sadly, there's a lot of games that I wanted to check out but didn't. So
Yeah.
we must prefix by saying, no matter what your game of the year might be, everyone at home, remind yourself that we haven't played every game or watched every film out there, although we damn well try.
but just remember that.
Onions have less?
No, just remember that our game of the year isn't. I don't know. I was trying to think.
You
Sorry,
made it
I'm
sound really
just-
dramatic, but nothing happened.
I was trying to think of what's a bad game that's come out this year. What's a bad game that's come out this year? Just remember.
Anything by Ubisoft.
Well, yeah, it's that, and probably like Scorn. Like you didn't like Scorn. Probably it's not gonna be.
I
the
would say it's
Scorn.
terrible, though.
To be
I didn't
fair,
like it.
To be fair, I heard a podcast today that were like the art direction was kind of good, but then it lost that category anyway. So I was like,
I was gonna say, if you want something which a lot happens but not a lot happens, it's the manga area, Aliens area. Like,
I'd already forgotten.
yeah, nothing happened basically.
Well, what media would you like to begin with it, boys? Before we've got quite a bit. How about?
Well, I
Go on, Chris.
was going to say, shall we save games still last, since that's the
Yes.
the oniony meaty part of the episode?
Yes.
Why do I keep saying oniony meaty? What the
It's the
fuck's
steak
wrong
and
with me?
onion of the
'cause
podcast.
this is what happens when you mention Glass Onion and then we mentioned Shrek in the same breath.
So, have you ruined that film for me? Shrek did it.
I don't know. I've not even seen Knives Out. All I know is Daniel Craig's character is like changed, and a whole load of people hated it. And I was like, all right, I don't know.
I think we, at the very least, we can be assured that Shrek is not played by Henry Cavill.
Are you
Well,
sure?
you never know.
You never know.
You never know. From
Maybe in a Dark Gritty reboot, maybe.
Oh, yeah, probably. Well, how about we start with films?
Go on
Films.
then.
Let me load up my films tab. I haven't seen anything.
Is it?
I lie. I've actually seen one film this year, which I remember.
You've seen Thor: Love and Thunder, but we haven't talked about it on the podcast yet.
Oh, by the
Yeah, that's
way,
definitely not film of the year.
we've not spoken about it on the podcast, but I have seen Black Panther 2.
Yeah, do you
That's
want to
a-
quickly go over that?
It's a good film, and that's all I have to say.
But
I know.
I've also seen a film which I've not mentioned on the podcast, and I've seen Violent Night, seeing as it's Christmas.
Oh, well, there you go.
Is that any good? I genuinely
It
wanted
was
to see
fucking
that.
hilarious.
I thought it was.
It's such a real nice take on Christmas, and it was a very pleasant watch. I laughed a lot. I cringed at one part because there's one lad who's a vlogger, and he's just like, "Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Steve in the house." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up before I shoot you."
Well, since we're mentioning films that we've not mentioned on the podcast this year, I've also seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. They were fine.
Well, you did
I
mention
know everyone's
that.
like,
You did mention that on the podcast.
did I? I don't remember talking about it.
I remember.
Oh, okay. No,
I-
never mind.
well,
Disregard that lesson.
I watched Black Panther on basically the day after release day, and we've done a few podcasts since, and I've just not mentioned it. I remember, I think it was the podcast after, I was like, "Oh, I mentioned Black Panther 2," and I just forgot. And that's like, it is a good film, but I kind of I left with like not really any opinion of it. I was like, good film. Out of all the Marvel films this year, it's the best of them, but I kind of have not really much to say on it.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what. Because of how I've got this set up, before we say which, let's do in order, right? Let's say, oh god, I've fucked this up. Let's do it. I've got it in like bullet points because there's some films I want to mention. So I just want to very quickly highlight some of the films I did think were good this year before mentioning my film of the year.
Yes.
So it's basically the shouts outs.
Mm-hmm.
So in no particular order, for myself, my top films of the year were The Batman, Nope, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, Doctor Strange, Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and Black Phone. They were all very good films. But I think I'm going to give Film of the Year, because it's the only one on my bullet point left, which I haven't stated. And you may be surprised by this, but I've got to say, it made me laugh my arse off. I'm going to give it to Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I really like that film. I'm being serious. That film made me laugh.
I forgot that was a thing this year.
It genuinely made me laugh, like belly laugh, a few times. And I nearly went with Weird, but I only just mentioned that like the last episode. But that's a really good film as well. But honestly, I think what it is Chip and Dale just completely caught me by surprise. I didn't expect much from it, and I laughed my arse off at it. Yeah, and it is technically really impressive with all the different animation styles they've done. I know people are like compared it to like Roger Rabbit. I don't say it's like as good as that because that's a classic, but it's very technically impressive. As I say, it made me laugh, so I'll give it to that. Fuck it.
Is it because it's got fake Sonic?
Yes, that was funny. That was pretty funny. No, the post credits thing. I don't think I've laughed so hard at anything all year. I really, really did. So yeah, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers for me. I bet that's not on anybody else's top film list, but
I
it's
didn't
on
even
mine.
watch it. I watched. I don't know. I watched quite a few films, but there's only really two. Probably only one. Well, there's two. There's only really two. I thought I'd mention that. One of them you've already mentioned, and then the other one is just One Piece film Red. I quite like that. It was like, as I mentioned in the episode I spoke about it. It's like half a musical, and then it's half just what you expect One Piece to be, and I quite enjoyed it. But I think my film of the year is The Batman. As a big Batman fan, this was the Batman film I'd been waiting for since the Dark Knight trilogy. This was everything I wanted. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but I love it so much, and I need to give it a rewatch.
Yeah, I've only seen it the once so far, and it is good. The only reason it didn't get higher is because I felt like the last sort of half hour, it kind of drags, or at least it felt like it dragged.
I can understand that. I can understand why it went the route it did. But I can also agree that maybe it did drag a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved like the atmosphere, the aesthetic, the fact that in a way it was kind of like a 6-episode mini series of Batman, but as a 3-hour film. So I loved it. Brandon?
So I've been looking through my list, and I have, off the top of my head, there are only 3 films that I can remember that I've seen as part of 2022. The first film which I saw this year, which I wasn't too particularly happy about, was Northman. Overall, it was a good film, and, I did enjoy it, but I don't know, it just went a bit off. I've also seen Thor: Love and Thunder, but obviously we spoke about it before, it's definitely not my film of the year. But I have 2 contenders for my films of the year. I've already briefly spoke about Violent Night, which I've seen, and I absolutely adore that film. But the other runner-up, which I've got for my film of the year, is Jackass 4.
Oh, fuck. I forgot that was out.
Yep, Jackass 4, which came out at the very start of this year.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know what? I forgot. That also came out. Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I've not forgotten about that, but they're not in my top.
I would probably give that a quick mention. I love that film, and
It was a decent film.
sorry, Brandon.
Apart from that,
Yes, I was going to say, so I'm split between 2, but I think because it's a film which actually I was laughing out loud watching, it's a film which I can see myself rewatching probably every year, and it's going to have to be Violent Night is my film of the year. It's just such a nice take on a Christmas film, and, seeing him play the role of Santa that well, and the actual gore in it. Like David Harbour played Santa. He played it extremely well. It was so funny. It was, I loved it. Yeah, film of the year for me is Violent Night.
interesting. Well, I guess people at home didn't expect us to say that.
No. What were you,
I didn't expect a Christmas film to appear on my list, but because when I watched it, I was like, this is brilliant.
What were you going to say about Sonic, Chris, before I
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, it was a decent film. Apart from that whole section with like the wedding bit, it's like I was just like, that's part of a different film. What the hell is that doing?
And the bit with the dance number, which was just like,
Yeah.
wait, have we just gone back like 10 years?
Yeah, it's like a kids' film, so they've got a crowbar a dance sequence in for reasons, just to put a song on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Anyway, none with that. So, keeping with films, I suppose the next category would be shows.
TV shows, yes.
What shows have I seen this year?
I do have a
Well,
top.
to give you a buffer, Brandon, while you have a think, I'm going to list some of mine. So, again, in no particular order, shows I've watched are, well, not shows I've watched, but top shows. Not Rings of Power, not that one. She-Hulk, I enjoyed. Andor was fucking phenomenal. Peacemaker was really, really good. Like, really good. Really, really good. But the winner is Better Call Saul by a large margin.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's obvious. When Dan was saying, watch like with like 5 shows that you like, in your top 5, it's like, well, I've seen Better Call Saul, I've seen Andor, and then I had to think about it. Yeah, Better Call Saul.
I knew
the
that
season finished. It was phenomenal. And
It was. I knew that was going to be yours. I, we've done this podcast long enough. I was like, I know what Chris's favourite TV show it is this year. I don't even need to ask him. I knew it was Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be that.
Fair, that's my number 2. So, my favourite TV shows are, this is in an order. The Legend of Vox Machina, although it is an animation, it is a American animation, so I'm not going to keep call it anime. So it is a TV show, and the second season is in a month, and I cannot wait. Then The Boys, then Better Call Saul, and then my favourite is Andor. I absolutely adored Andor. I think it's probably one of the best things related to Star Wars since probably Rogue One, which is kind of funny since it's a Rogue One prequel. It makes a lot of sense.
And I have to concur. In fact, I've gone one further and say it is the best Star Wars show there has been.
Oh, it is definitely the best Star Wars show. But I would say it's like one of the best things Star Wars related in so long. Andor just from start to finish just hit a home run. That final episode was incredible.
That makes me feel better about things because I was pretty split on whether to put Saul or Andor on there. So hey, they're both in.
But like both Andor and Better Call Saul just stole the year. I would say the only problem with Better Call Saul for me was they had the mid-season break, and I felt like that ruined a bit of the momentum it got.
Yeah, because they didn't like announce they were having a break. It was, or just like went to watch it the very next week, and it's like, where the fuck's my soul? Where's my soul? Where is it? What have you done with it?
That is my only criticism, which is like nothing. I think it was the fact that I'd binged so much Better Call Saul because I caught up on season 4 and 5 as well this year. So I watched them and then went into season 6, and then it just had that break. Especially the episodes it was just like, oh, I didn't realize. I know we had to wait like nearly a month for more episodes. It was like, I don't know if that was the best idea, but I can understand they were transitioning into 2 different sections of the season, but.
Yeah, I think it just seems more weird because they haven't done it with any other season. It's the only one they've done it with. But there are more episodes in it.
Yeah, they had done it with Breaking Bad, but that was only the final season.
Yeah, that is you, Brandon.
Well, mine is very, very easy because I have only seen 2 TV series this year. One I've not even finished. I've still only seen 2 episodes of that, and that's Rings of Power. And the only TV show this year which I have seen from start to finish that is not an anime is Stranger Things Series 4.
Oh yeah, that came out.
By default, that is my win of TV series of the year because I've not seen anything else.
You know what, Dan? I forgot it came out as well.
Well, I typed in like TV shows of 2022, and that didn't even come up.
No, it didn't, did it? That's why I didn't write it down. I forgot about it.
This year it came out, isn't it? I'm not being stupid.
All right, that gets on with your third place then.
You know what was one of the worst TV shows this year? Umbrella Academy.
Midnight. You know what? I forgot I even watched that.
Oh, that was.
This is the best game of the year. This is the best media of the year. All of us are just like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I tell you what, I'd have had a far easier time this year writing about all the stuff I found disappointing. Like, not great, not like utter terrible, but a letdown. That list would have been very easy. Yeah. Met of the Year award.
It's like I've well, no, we'll get on to that subject. What else do we have? We've done best TV
Album
shows.
of the year.
Pardon?
Album of the year.
Yeah, well, albums I guess next.
Cool. I think. Well,
Well, I can do this one very easy if it makes everyone's easy.
Mine's still exactly the same as when we did that music. It's even the band messaged me that they put on their I think it was on Facebook. There was like Metal Hammer put it as in their top 50. We're like really happy. And then I literally commented. I was like, I've listened to this amount of albums, and the moment your album came out, it was number 1, and it still is after this amount of albums. They were like, oh, thanks, Dan. I was like, yeah. So it's not changed, which is Rollo Tomasi.
Oh, wicked. Well, mine is split between Motionless in White and Bad Omens, just as I said in the last one. And I think I'm going to have to give it to Bad Omens because that album, I really love that album. I just love the sound that they've got from it. I love it.
I need to give
But Motionless White is a close second place.
Like, second place for me is Dayseekers. That album is so good. It's got this 80s synthwave feel to it all in this really cool metalcore album. It's fantastic. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. I was just like, oh, new Dayseeker album. Oh, listen to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my number 2 album after one playthrough. And Chris?
Me, yeah. Just like yours, Dan. Mine hasn't really changed since we recorded the last episode. Although since then, I have also listened to the new Rammstein album in full, and that's really good.
Really? Yeah. You think it's?
Yeah. It's not my that's not my album of the year, but it's just one that came out this year that I've actually listened to. I've actually got around to it because I'd listened to the singles before, but I've actually listened to the whole thing, and yeah, it's rather good. But again, I haven't listened to all that many new albums, so my picks remain the same. So Lamb of God gets second place with Omens, and my album of the year is Requiem by Korn because I've listened to that so much. Technically, there is another album I've listened to a lot, but I'm not going to mention it because I might mention it in a different category later on. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
No.
Maybe you will later. Or maybe, or just drop it and won't mention it again, just confuse you further. We'll see how we go. So, anime then. Anime. Is that the next one?
Oh, this is going to be a beefy one.
Maybe for you.
I'm very torn here, Dan. I don't know about you.
There's only one answer, and you know what the answer is.
Sonic Prime.
But me, I'm genuinely torn here because the ones I've got, if I could split my anime of the year into different categories, I would. Because depending on what mood I'm in, I could think something is amazing. Like if I'm feeling really high octane and whatnot, then I'll pick like a shonen one, which would win by default. Whereas if I'm going for something which, you know, I'm a massive fan of like ecchi rom-com. Like I absolutely adore that genre.
I know.
Like I'd be able to give something like My Dress Up Darling anime of the year in that category. So if I was to, I'm going to split my anime of the year into a couple categories here, just because it makes my life easier.
All right.
So my favorite comedy rom-com of the year.
All right. Let me just.
My Dress Up Darling.
Okay. Wait a minute, because you doing this. Let me just. Right.
It's the only way I can sort of get this out.
Right.
My Dress Up Darling is my favorite rom-com of the year, hands down. My favorite continual series, because it's something which
I know what
I am so happy they've reanimated, and I'm so happy it's out.
I know what
is Bleach.
Say. Yep, completely don't agree, but that's.
I'm in love with it. At the moment it's the one series I'm just like I want the next episode to hurry up. In terms of animation butte, Demon Slayer, and in terms of just all rounder would be Chainsaw Man, and that's probably how I'll go. The only reason I've given Attack on Titan in that category as well is because, like you said, with like these breaks, Attack on Titan keeps having breaks, and I keep losing momentum for it, and it pisses me off because. You know, like when all the big shonens were first coming out, they were just on weekly, and you're just constantly like in it. But because they're like, oh, this is the final season, part 2, part B. I'm just like, just give me the whole fucking final season, please. Don't stop cock teasing me, please.
Don't call it the final season. Just say it's this.
Exactly.
Say it's season 4. Now it's season 5. Now it's season 6.
Exactly.
Don't you say cock tease you.
Yeah, it's like the foreplay. They're just like, oh, I'm good. You're going to climax. Oh, but we're on a hiatus. I'm like, fuck you. Just let me have the whole thing. But yeah, so if I was to choose one, purely because of where my heart is for this, and it's the one anime which I've been waiting the most for, I'm going to have to give it to Bleach.
I have done a top 10, but I'm not going to mention all 10. I'll tell you my top 5. Well, number 1 is obvious, but at number 5, it's Spy X Family. Then it's Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Then at number 3, it's Bocchi the Rock. And then the top 2 are obvious for me. It's Mob Psycho at number 2. Mob Psycho Season 3, because it's my favourite anime. And then Chainsaw Man, because it's joint with something else. It is the best media this year.
Oh, joint with something else, as in general media.
In general media, I'm including games. It's joint with something else.
Ooh, interesting.
I thought while I was taking the dog tonight, I was like, I guess if I take out games, this is kind of like gonna probably. Yeah, if I take out games, it is the best media this year by a mile. There is nothing that stands against Chainsaw Man, and I'm not gonna. I could go on about this for hours. But there is literally nothing that stands against Chainsaw Man. 100% there is nothing in my mind. But that's not what we're talking. That's a different conversation. Yeah, Chainsaw Man's mine. Anyway.
Also, I saw Edge Runners. That's it. That's the list.
Is that your anime of the year, Edge Runners? Because you're the one you've seen.
One and the same is the best and the worst. Is Edge Runners. That's actually a lot.
Good anime. Now, as I said, it's now my number 4. I think I was watching the latest episode of Bocchi the Rock, and I thought, unless this absolutely fucks its last episode, this is my third favorite anime this year.
That's one reason I was hesitant about placing this season stuff, because it's not finished. I don't know if they'll end up fucking up. Obviously, they're not going to fuck Chainsaw Man up. If they did, there'd be absolute riot. But I'm just hesitant to put this current season stuff there. Obviously, Bleach, because I know the ending. I've got a bias towards that compared to Chainsaw Man.
Well, it's not even they've not even finished. It's not even going to finish that arc. There's going to be another season.
Is it a 12 core? Is it?
I don't know, but they're going to do another season, clearly, because he's got a Yarlich. I've forgotten what he's called. However, what he's called, he has to come back, and with all of that bit, so there's going to be another season at least. Because I remember all the shitty fights in the manga, which haven't occurred yet. So
why'd you call them shitty fights?
Because they were fucking boring. They were fucking boring, and this is why I don't agree with Bleach. But it doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter about Bleach. It doesn't matter. I'm right. We're ending this because I'm gonna go on a massive rant. It doesn't matter what I think about Bleach. It's not my opinion. Doesn't matter.
Dan, I think that's the most angry I've ever heard you.
I just remember reading the final arc of Bleach week to week, and I remember this certain fight, and it was so fucking boring. I fucking hated it so much. It was so shit.
I didn't mind it. I was having a great time.
It's the fight with the scientist guy. I never know his name, but it's his final fight in the manga. It's his final fight in the manga, and I fucking hated it. It's
when they animated Yamamoto Genryusai's Bankai. I was just like, oh, if I was a woman, I'd be moist. That's
well,
you describe it.
That made you want to put bleach in my ears.
Like, I know this year hasn't been the best for anime, and it kind of says it when my top 3 are all the current season or the fall season.
Yeah, the seasons have been a bit hit and miss this year. They really have. But next year, it just looks like we're not getting that many originals. Because like Kaiju number 8 doesn't come out till 2024.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, bloody hell! Like,
I think
that. When Kaiju number 8 comes out, I think it's going to have the same impact as Chainsaw Man, which I think I've already mentioned. No,
maybe. I think it will depend on the first trailer. But I don't know. I think Chainsaw Man. I've spoken about this too much. I can't fucking stay away from talking about this about Chainsaw Man. I literally can't. I literally saw my friends on Saturday, and half the fucking conversation we had at lunch with me talking about Chainsaw Man. I can't fucking stay away from talking about it. That's why. That's why.
Spoilers for the podcast for next year, folks.
That's why I say it's in my. It's like the best piece of media for me. Right. Let's move on to the next category.
Have any of you done any reading this year?
Only with Word documents.
Well, what's your Word document of the year?
It might be the one that told me I got a pay rise.
Okay, that is actually pretty pog.
Yeah, that's the best one. Short and sweet, but to the point, and I got something out of it in the end.
Not even any web comics or anything like comics. You've not.
No, I don't read stuff like that. No, unless it's a meme. Then no, I haven't seen it.
What about you, Dan? Have you done any reading of fresh stuff this year?
I normally read, might be a couple chapters behind, but I normally read the webcomic Scoob and Shag, which is a...
Please don't tell me that's Scooby Doo.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a shonen influenced Scooby Doo and Shaggy story where with a whole load of not comic book, but with cartoon characters, and it's pretty good. It was on hiatus for a little while, and it came back, and I always enjoy reading those chapters. Otherwise, I would say One Piece 1.0 ended this year. It was fantastic. I think it had there was a bit in the end of it which feels a bit off, and I would say that's the only minor thing. It has this strange bitter taste at the end, but other than that, the 1.0 arc in One Piece was incredible, and one of the best arcs of One Piece. And now the current arc has been great. So One Piece is always great. If you're an anime fan and you read One Piece, you're always gonna have a good time. Near enough.
I have read 2 things which are fresh out this year. One of which I already spoke about, Aliens Area, which I wasn't a fan of. And the second thing, which I've started to read even more of, which if it does get animated, I'm genuinely looking forward to it. And that's Tokyo Underworld. Have you read any of it, Dan?
No, nothing.
So Tokyo Underworld, it's basically... I've not really spoken too much detail about it because I was only new into it. But what's happened is there's a classroom and they've been bullying their teacher. And then what the teacher did, he killed himself and was like, you lot have, you've basically sent me to do this. You've made my life so miserable, so I'm going to make your life miserable. I'm going to send you to the Tokyo Underworld. So he then kills himself on a train by drinking fertilizer, which makes blood just explode out of his eyes, nose, and everything. And then they get sent to the Tokyo Underworld, which is basically, think of like Tokyo, but it's like inverted. It's just super dark, and all the students have now got to survive in the Tokyo Underworld, and there are executioners walking around who are based on historical figures, and they need to basically beat these executioners based on their history. So the first executioner they met was Benkei from Japan, and he was basically guarding the Tokyo Bridge, and the only way they can get past Benkei was to stab him multiple times with arrows and make sure that the last 2 arrows that hit him at the exact same time, just exactly how Benkei died in real life. And he just absolutely destroyed all the students, like split them in half with shovels and doing whatnot. And then right now where I'm reading at the moment is Mary Antoinette, and by the looks of it, she's collecting all the body parts to make like a charm. So she is on the hunt for 5 students for a tongue, an arm, a leg, an ear, and a head. And it's really gruesome. It's really, really interesting because they're sort of alluding that the main character has committed a very heinous crime, but he's just like, I don't know what heinous crime I committed. I don't understand. To which there's another villain who has just been introduced. Is like, are you sure you don't know what crime you committed? So it is genuinely interesting. If it gets animated well, I can see it being a good 7 or an 8, but that's only provided if it does get animated well. But story-wise, it is quite good. So I'm going to have to give Tokyo Underworld, Tokyo Underground as my... Oh no, Tokyo Underworld, not Underground, dickhead. As my Angry of the Year. Also, in good news, I've just received an email from my Stocks and Shares account. I have just been paid a dividend.
Yay.
I have just been paid 41 pence.
Woo.
Damn, don't spend that all in one place.
I don't know which company it is.
You high roller.
To be fair, you've made more money out of that than anyone ever has in NFTs, so well done.
Oh.
What company
Oh,
is
did you
it?
see the announcement that Yu Suzuki was thinking about going into NFTs?
Who?
The guy who created Shenmue.
Oh, okay.
No, but I pretty much thought all of them had at this point, especially like Square Enix.
Oh yeah.
And also that the creator of Sonic has been a very naughty boy.
Yep, I heard about that. Yep.
What happened?
Back training.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Naughty man. I suppose we could have done a top scandals of the year. That would have been easy, wouldn't it?
I don't know any.
Biggest fuck up.
Oh, it was Shell that paid me.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, 41p. That's
Careful.
Just nothing random for the podcast.
You need to be careful with them. They're a shell company. Careful.
But 41p for doing nothing, I'll take that.
So my
Anyway, films of the year. No, games of the year. That one. You know, that thing that we're all here for.
Onion of the episode.
Shall we get into other meat then? The games.
Yes, let's get into our onions.
Onions back on the menu,
games
boys.
of the year, boys. What a year for games.
Hasn't
Indeed.
really.
It's
There
well,
were indeed games out this year.
It was games.
Some of
but
which we've played.
It's a cracking year though.
well. We didn't play every single game, did we?
Definitely not. But from what I've played, there's only really one.
Well, to be fair, you basically went, I like Dark Chronicle. I'm going to spend my life playing this.
Not just Dark Chronicle, it's Dark Chronicle with 130 hours. It was a Digimon World Next Order with another 130 odd hours. And then another game, which is my game of the year for a good part of 150 hours.
Is your game of the year? It is released in this year. Yeah. I don't know why. I already know what it is. Anyway, I don't know why.
Shall I just say what my game of the year is and just get over it?
The thing is,
No, we need some build up first. We need some build up.
I think all three of us know what our collective podcast game of the year is. I'm going to be honest with you. I think we all three of us know that before we even start recording, we already knew what our collective game of the year is. I think for all three of us, it's the exact same thing.
Okay, so all right. So shall I start cock teasing everyone then?
So I think it's what everything else is. It doesn't. I think number one, it doesn't fucking matter. Everyone who's listened to our 41 episodes up to this point, our biggest episodes are about this game, so they know it's our favorite game. This is me just going, it's this.
Don't jump to conclusions, Dan. We've not got there yet.
Oh, I know it's Overwatch 2 for you, Chris.
Oh, fuck off.
Don't worry.
Right, I would say, seeing
It's
as you just mentioned
multiverse for me.
Overwatch
No, it's
2,
not.
can I just mention Overwatch 2?
No, you may not.
No,
Yeah,
the only
you
reason
may-
I'm saying
you
this
can.
is because
You can.
I've been playing Overwatch 2 for quite a while with my partner. And, as a game, I do enjoy it. It's fun to play. It's something which you could just play. You don't need to think about the world. It's just, in terms of escapism, Overwatch 2 is good. The main gripes, which you will agree with me, Dan, I have never seen, I've played gacha games, I have never ever seen such a cash grabbing bunch of bastards in my life. How dare they charge £20 for a single character skin? And it just blows my mind that just how expensive the things are in Overwatch 2. It is disgusting. The best value for money stuff on the Overwatch 2 is the Battle Pass because you get the most collective stuff. But my God, it's such a cash grab. Unbelievably a cash grab. Free to play my ass. That's all I'm going to say.
We could do an entire episode just on the downfalls of Activision Blizzard. And people have. So, yeah.
But yeah, the reason I'm not going to give Overwatch 2 my game of the year, it's basically Overwatch 1 with one less character. It's expensive for all the cosmetics, and the actual game developers are too slow to make any changes.
And our shit.
Well,
And there we go, that's my take on it. As a game, it's fun, but the workings of the game, yeah.
I played 10 games released in 2022. Not loads, but still not the worst amount. And Overwatch 2 is my number 8 game for me. For me, Overwatch 2 is a fun game. I played an hour and a half of it yesterday, and I had a lot of fun actually. But it doesn't really play that much different to Overwatch 1. They've basically tried to rebrand it, say it's a different game, but realistically, it's not really.
It's not.
And they tried to make it better. They have in some aspects, and in a lot of aspects, they managed to make it far worse.
Roadhog.
It's not even just that. It's just even just the battle pass. Whatever.
I missed the loot box system. I'm sorry, but I really missed the loot box.
I think they shouldn't have gone with the battle pass. I think they should have just done something else. But oh well, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of problems with Overwatch 2. The fact that if you go into CEX, for example, and you find the Overwatch 1 game, you find on the shelf Overwatch 1, you buy it, you are basically paying, I don't know how much it probably costs in CEX, probably like £10-15 for a game that is free to play. I can't believe that there are shops out there that will be doing that, selling you a game that is literally free to play. Ridiculous. Because
I have just gone to the CEX website. I have typed in Overwatch. It doesn't exist.
good.
They don't sell Overwatch. They're selling Overwatch merch like mouse, headphones, keyboards, but they are not selling the game.
Good, because it's a free-to-play game.
Exactly.
So, there are a lot of problems with Overwatch 2. But like I said, I played an hour and a half of it yesterday and had a really good time. I won near enough every game. Don't know how, but I had an absolutely fantastic time. But it doesn't really play anything different to what it did originally. And some of the changes aren't even good changes. The team said they were good changes. They're not. It's my number 8 game. Chris, you've played a lot.
Hello.
You've played a lot of games Do you know how many
I
games you
have.
played? That is a question I would like to know the answer if you know that answer.
Well, I couldn't put a number on it, but I played a fair few. So yeah. Well, how should I do this? I have a bit of a list here. Not a massive one because I've played a fair few games, but I've only really noted down the ones that I think are either Game of the Year or came close, or certainly a top 8. So, but I don't want to dwell on it too long. So, shall I just go in no particular order like I did the films?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right then. So this is more of like sort of like honourable mentions. As so I'm going to start with Nobody Saves the World, which I played earlier this year, which I did play enough of to 100% it. So Nobody Saves the World, if you don't know, is a sort of top-down kind of bullet hell shooter, but with like a sort of RPG system attached to it, with like an overworld and like kind of Zelda-ish. It's quite unique for what it is. I've not played much else like it, but I do recommend it.
Just to interrupt, the podcast I listened to today, the gaming podcast I listened to today, did their Game of the Year. That was their number 3.
Number 3, as high as that. Oh,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Carry on.
Okay. Another one which I want to give a mention to, which I did mention a couple of episodes ago, Ghost Song. I rather enjoyed that. Kind of like a throwback to sort of like the old Super Metroid games of old, but with more of a sort of Souls sort of experience mechanic. I rather like that game, and there is some replay value to be had, so I might replay it again at some point with like a slightly different build. But what I like most about Ghost Song is it just came the hell out of nowhere, and I didn't know what to expect. But I seen Metroidvania, I clicked on it, I started playing it, and rather enjoyed it. So that's, I guess, a top mention. We've got one that I know you two have mentioned, which is Vampire Survivors.
Yes.
That's quite a good game. Just pick up and play fun. Only recently started playing it like a couple of weeks ago, like off and off. I did like complete all the collection and whatnot, so I did it all. But it's amazing how quick time goes when you play it. I know they've just released DLC for it, like literally a couple of days before recording. But I haven't played that, and to be honest, I'm not going to pay for it because I got it for free. In fact, it's free on iPhone and iOS as well now, and Android. So if you want a free game, and you can do a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah,
it's quite good. Although I will say, when I played it on mobile, because I downloaded it again for something to do on the bus, I do find it struggles a bit. Like when you go like over like 30 minutes, it seems to the frame rate seems to tank. It's like there's too much for the phone to handle.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As you might expect. But hey, for a pick up and play thing, it's fine. Okay. Well, the next ones I'm kind of getting into are my contenders for Game of the Year, like the real ones. Man, it's a tough pick. I'll tell you this, it's not Elden Ring. Elden Ring is good. I know that's maybe your picks. We won't spoil it. I really did like Elden Ring. I've played the crap out of it. I've played it so many times. I've put a lot of hours into it. Is it my Game of the Year? No. I'd say it's probably tied, but there's one that just squeaks above.
Oh, I think I might know what it is.
You probably
Monkey
do.
Island.
So, no, Monkey Island's on par with Elden Ring in my book.
Shredder's Revenge.
Okay.
Because Monkey Island, like, obviously the gameplay is not all that deep, but I love the plot, I love the jokes, I love the writing. So it's like I like each game, but for different reasons. So Elden Ring's got the gameplay nailed, the world exploration's phenomenal, etc. But the writing in Monkey Island's top notch. I love the ending. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending, but a lot of people didn't like the ending to 2 and 3 and hell, even the first one. It's subjective, I suppose, but it really hit me with childhood nostalgia, and I bloody loved it. Fantastic. There's one more mention before I get to Game of the Year, because if I don't mention it, certain my friends on Twitch might murder me for not mentioning it. Because they said, this is Game of the Year. How dare you even consider anything else? And that game is Infernax.
Oh, yeah.
And to be fair, Infernax is fucking amazing. I've played that game so many times, over and over again.
I know Weldy Time's a big fan of it.
Yeah, Weldy, Ari Babel, and quite a lot of people really like it.
Yeah.
So, again, just to recap, Infernax is a 2D platformer akin to Simon's Quest, or like Link's Adventure, Legend of Zelda 2, but everything's polished to a T. It's got a sense of humor. It's got plenty of replay value, which you can be good or evil. It's fantastic. It's really good. It's not like the longest game in the world, although to fully complete like a playthrough will probably take you about 6 hours, maybe a bit more. But if you want to replay it again and get all the endings by doing different playthroughs, you're going to have your hands full for a little while, but it is a very, very solid game. Music's good, graphics are good, bosses are great, everything's good. But there is one more which stands out. So Are we ready? My game of the year, which you can probably guess what it is because I've mentioned it a couple of times. And also tied for the second best album of the year. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
I called it. Called it.
Called it. Thought you would. I mean, come on. Shredder's Revenge. It's proper couch co-op gameplay. It's amazing. It's cheap as... I won't say chips, because chips are fucking expensive now. Cheap as onions. It's as cheap as onions. Yeah, awesome pics and graphics. A phenomenal soundtrack, which I genuinely do listen to when I'm out and about, because it's that good. The gameplay is tight as anything. You can just play it to death. It's, again, like Vampire Survivors. If you just want to pick it up and just play a quick level, go for it. There's plenty of characters you can play with. There's 6-player online co-op if that's your bag. I haven't done that myself, but that's me being antisocial. But this game gives you everything. It's one of the games you play and you just have a smile on your face the entire time you're playing it. And I can't ask much more than that. I really like Turtles in Time, the original one, and there's plenty of references to other Turtles media and the other games. Even some of the level design is ripped straight from the other games, but in a more unique and creative way. And I just have a blast with it. So, yeah, Shredder's Revenge. Sorry, Elden Ring, you are very, very good. But Shredder's Revenge just ekes you out ever so slightly.
Okay, I was wrong then. I was wrong.
Yeah, I know.
It's good to be wrong. Okay, I will tell you my top 10. So, the bottom one, I only played it around my friends, and it was just because, oh yeah, this is a 2022 game. I'll add it just because. And that's Multiverse. Don't really got much to say. Played it, whatever. Then I have Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes. I only played about half an hour and I've not gone back to it. I was going to try this week and I just have not. I'm going to try and play a bit more in the new year. I'm going to try and actually play it. Maybe a bit over Christmas. I think it will be a fun game, but I still don't think it'll be much higher on this list. Then Overwatch 2. Then 20 Minutes to Dawn. I really like that. It's obviously a bit like Vampire Survivors, but a bit different. But as you can attest to this, Brandon, it is far harder, and I think I always enjoyed playing it, and I would get a bit further, but I did still struggle.
I think it's for me. It's just because there's more clicking involved in Until Dawn, so it's just like hammers my mouse. Whereas Vampire Survivors, because it's got an auto shoot, you're just moving around. The music in it was nice. Yeah, I think that was it for me. If there was just less micromanagement, it'd be just as fun.
Then I have Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Played that for a good few hours, but I haven't gone back to it in months. I think I know why, and that's nothing to do with the podcast. That's a completely personal reason. Then I was saying this is my top 5, and this might be quite interesting. So at number 5, well, okay, my 3, 4, and 5, I really struggled to decide what order. And I think the way I look at them is this. If I complete all 3 of them, I think I know which one I like the most and which one I like the least. And I put at number 5, Tunic. Then, and I only started this yesterday, which is bad, Pokemon Legends Arceus. And number 3, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Then my number 2 is Vampire Survivors. And then number 1 is Elden Ring.
Fair enough. I'm surprised I didn't actually pick Pokemon as one of my games of the year. I thought they were fine, but they weren't like astounding. I didn't get blown away like I did the others.
I'm going to say this. If anyone's listening and you play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and you're having problems like with the frame, with glitches and all that, I'll tell you this. I've had none. I've literally had none.
Oh, I've had bloody loads. And
I've had
people seen it live for evidence.
I'm so sorry, but I've had none and I love it. I literally cannot believe I've had nothing. The frame rate is about the only thing, but even then it's not even been that much. I've noticed it, but it's not been like, oh no, it's like, well, I'm in an open world. What do you expect? There's going to be a bit of frame rate drop. I've had no glitches whatsoever. I actually cannot believe how well Scarlet has ran on my Switch. From all the backlash, I actually am gobsmacked, and I'm so sorry if anyone's had glitches.
That sounds like hard to believe. Like even now, I'm seeing people post new glitches. I've seen one today of like somebody's like the Eevee backpack and Penny just freaking the hell out.
I literally cannot believe I've had no glitches, and my version of the game is ran so well. I cannot believe from all the backlash. It because of it, it really shouldn't be my number 3, but it is. I think I I think Legends Arceus, it's just, I only just started playing it yesterday, and I played it like a good 5 hours, and I really like it, but I played so much more with Scarlet and Violet, and I just have to, I think it is better, only because I played more. Both of them are great. I think if I finished Legends Arceus, I think maybe it would be higher than Scarlet and Violet, but I've only just started it yesterday, so that's my only reason. And Tunic, I love Tunic. And when Scarlet and Violet came out, I was playing Tunic more than that, but Scarlet and Violet has quickly grabbed me once, and since I've been trying to play other things, and then I just go, oh no, I played Scarlet and Violet again. Oh, what a shame. And then my top two are just self-explanatory. I've spoken about both of them on this podcast way too much. So there's no reason why they're not. They are my top two.
Okay, if I was to pick a top three, the main three games which I've played this year, at number 3 would be Vampire Survivors. Really, really enjoyed that. It really took me by surprise just how addictive it was, and the soundtrack and everything. And for me, number 2 is Cult of the Lamb, because that game is just so cute. It's so fun. I love the roguelike aspects of it. It's great. The actual interactions you can have with Twitch integration is amazing. It's a very, very smart game like that. And then there's no point in me just beating around the bush. First place is Elden Ring, isn't it? There's nothing else I can say. Like, Elden Ring for me is almost everything which I want in a video game. But the only downside of Elden Ring is just the lack of soundtrack and boss repetition. Apart from that, it's a fucking phenomenal game. Elden Ring, easy.
I'm glad you put Cult of the Lamb on. It's just, I've heard quite a lot of good things, and even in that podcast I just mentioned, that was in their top 10. Can't remember where it was, but it was definitely in their top 10. It might not.
It's just so cool that you can just literally feed your followers a pie made of shit, and they just puke and shit everywhere and get ill, and they're like, oh, thank you, Lord, and then they just die. It's so funny to play. Like, it's such a cool game just to pick up and play and just enjoy the roguelike aspects of it. Like, if you like Binding of Isaac and stuff like that, you will absolutely love Cult of the Lamb.
Me.
What would you say? What would you say are your top 5 or top 10? I don't know. Is there? I know you put honorable mention, but do you have a definitive top 5, or these group are my top games, but then TMNT is the best?
Well, it's pretty much how I say. Well, I'd probably say number 1 be Shredder's Revenge. 2 and 3 are tied. Monkey Island and Elden Ring are tied, and then Infernax after that, and then number 5 Ghost Song. And Vampire Survivors, Nobody Saves the World. Oh, one I didn't mention, Signalis. What about that? I really enjoyed that one as well. Yeah, I suppose they're my picks.
Do we want to try and sort a top 5 for our podcast? So if anyone leaves here, after we all leave here today, we know these are the 5 games that made our 2022.
All right. Before we do that, we'll just give a very quick recap of all our favourite picks. Just a recap. So my top film for me, Chip and Dale. Top game, Shredder's Revenge. Top show, Better Call Saul. Top album, Korn Requiem. Top anime, Edge Runners, because it has to be. Brandon, yours was?
So my favourite game of the year, Elden Ring. My album of the year is the Bad Omens one. My favourite anime of the year has been Bleach. My favourite book, novel, or whatever of the year is Tokyo Underworld. My favourite TV series, because it's the only one I've watched, is Stranger Things 4. And my favourite film is Violent Night.
And Dan?
My favourite film this year was The Batman. My favourite TV show this year was Andor. My favourite album this year is Where Myth Becomes Memory by Rollo Tomasi. My favourite reading material was the Wano arc in One Piece. My favourite anime and my joint with Elden Ring, my favourite piece of media this year is Chainsaw Man. And my favourite game this year is Elden Ring.
There we go. So that's that then. Oh, that was easy. And I'm quicker than I thought.
But I do have a question for you all, though, because obviously we've spent the last hour talking about stuff which has only come out this year. But what if I was to branch out and say, of everything you've consumed this year, not necessarily released this year, what's been your favourite? How would you wrap up 2022 and everything you've experienced brand new this year?
Christ, I don't know.
Wait, so you're saying, let's say I discovered a TV show that I hadn't watched until this year.
Yeah.
What would be my favourite thing? Not including things that came out this year.
Yeah, so the 2022 media of the not media not of this year.
Right. Right. Basically, best old media.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not from 2022 that you've witnessed this year. Now, how's that for a category?
Well, I finally went through Steins Gate this year, if you remember. Very
Oh
early.
yes, I forgot you did that.
What's quite funny is my number 9 favorite anime this year is very much like Steins Gate. Very much like it's near enough the same amount of episodes, has the same feel, has like time travel, which is kind of funny actually. That's summertime rendering. But yeah, I watched Steins Gate. I loved that. I finally went through. I know it's a more reality comedy TV show, but I finally went through, and you did as well, all of Taskmaster.
Fucking love Taskmaster. If that's literally my not media of the year, fucking like beats everything.
Game wise, I finally finished Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that is such an incredible game. I know it's not for everyone. I know, but I love it, adore it. No, there's a lot really. I would say something like. Okay, I'm not gonna count Fire Emblem Three Houses only because I'd played like so much of it prior to this year. Or something I'd never experienced. It would either be like Steins Gate or Taskmaster, maybe, or something else. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm just having a quick look now. If I was to say my favorite game apart from Elden Ring, which I've played this year, it's probably Ark Knights. My favorite film is going to be Avengers. Like Endgame, because I've only just watched that this year. Favorite TV series is Taskmaster, and that's my favorite non-2022 media of the year. It's definitely been my highlight of everything which I've seen and done this year. I've not really read any manga unless if I consider like Kaiju number 8. I'd probably say that is my like reading material of the year.
In terms of reading material, I have one. I bought a book a long time. No, did I buy it? No, I don't know when I bought it, but I actually read a book while I was in Italy, and it's actually a non-fiction book. It's called Anxiety as an Ally by Dan Riker, who, funny enough, is part of that podcast, that gaming podcast, and it's a fantastic book about how he deals with how he got like diagnosed with anxiety, how he deals with it, and his life with it up until when he wrote this book. And like for example, I listened to the latest podcast he was on today, and it's like after reading this book, it's like, wait, he like battled with anxiety for all these years? No, surely not. It's like, well, yeah, like this book this is such a good book, and I would say even if you don't struggle with anxiety, it's such an interesting read, and I'd recommend it. Like, Dan Riker is a really interesting and funny guy, and I love listening to him on the podcast. And on the podcast he's on, and I really enjoyed reading his book.
I'm really trying to wrap my brains of things that I've watched this year that came out previous. The only thing that really jumps to mind is the film The Founder with Michael Keaton, Nick Offerman. I really like that film, and that came out in 2017. Other than that, my mind's a blank.
Yeah,
you play all sorts.
So all the shows I watched, the ones I've already rattled off because of all this year.
Like another film I quite enjoyed was I went to see Belle earlier this year, the anime film. Really enjoyed that. Although I don't know, I really enjoyed it, but at the same time I'm like, was it really good? I don't know.
Oh fuck! I just remembered something.
Yeah.
This was the first year I watched Akira.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. And this is the first year I've seen Evangelion as well. Ooh.
You know what you need to add onto that list next year?
What?
Berserk.
I need to add that to my manga list.
Yeah.
Because,
well,
I don't want to be tarnished by the anime.
Well, you say that. You do need to read it, but if you even accept the 2016 or 2017 anime, just ignore them. Everything else is worth watching. The original 1997 anime is incredible, and you got at the moment it's just nearly. It will finish as of time recording on Sunday. They've redone the animated films as a TV show, and that's like that's worth watching. Yeah, like they're not perfect. Both of them have their gripes, but they're both good watches. I would say the 1997 anime is better, but that is more in tune with the manga than the film, because there's a big subplot about a queen, and that's just ignored in the films. Like that whole thing, just it just moves on to the next scene, and it's like, oh yeah. Whereas in the 1997 anime, it's like, oh no, it's all this bit with the queen. I'm not surprised they took it out of the movies. It served no purpose. It was just like, yeah, the queen was evil and they killed her, and there was this plot to kill this person, and then they killed her. So there you go. It's not even that important. But yes, read Berserk. Go through Berserk.
All right, guys. Probably best game that I played this year that didn't come out this year. It's probably Kill It With Fire, which came out in 2020. The spider murder simulator, which is unfair because I quite like spiders, but gameplay wise, yeah, that's pretty fun.
Fair. I really enjoyed Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I really enjoyed playing that. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just enjoy games. We don't we?
You certainly do. Otherwise, we'd be doing the very wrong kind of podcast if we didn't.
So, what would be our collective top 5 of the year?
Well, I'm now number 2 to 1, aren't I? From Elden Rings.
Well, I think we have to say that Elden Ring is number 1. I think there's no way we cannot say it's number 1.
No, I've changed my mind. It's Monkey Island. Screw it.
I meant collectively. It has to be Elden Ring.
That could be for Ragnarok, which none of us have played.
Yes, because that's the game.
It certainly is.
You mean God of War? I thought you said 4 Ragnarok.
We did.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
Surely there's a mobile tie-in game of it. There normally is. Has anyone checked?
Yeah, let's see. If not being serious, I think the only thing which I'd be able to contribute for like a general top 5 would be Game of the Year and Anime of the Year. I haven't really got enough experience of the other 3 categories this year to be able to adequately say that this is what it is. Like TV series, I highly bet Andor or Better Call Saul are that TV series of the year, but because I've only seen Stranger Things and Rings of Power, I don't feel like I'm in a position to say that yes, this is definitely a media of the year. So, but with due confidence, I would have to say Elden Ring and Chainsaw Man as like in general like new things this year.
You know what's saying about like TV shows? You know how I mentioned Wednesday? It's been like the top thing on Netflix for weeks.
Yeah, it keeps advertising it at me.
I only watched it because of the fucking dance sequence she does. I was like, I fucking love that dance sequence. I'm gonna fucking watch it just for that. And then I didn't even mention that when I mentioned Wednesday that I only watched it because of the dance. The dance she does is fucking brilliant. And then I saw a meme where it was basically the fucking Spider-Man 3 dance that Tobey Maguire does, and next to Jenna doing her Wednesday dance.
I don't think I've seen that clip. I tell you what though, nothing makes me want to click off something faster than a dance sequence. And that's me.
I can imagine that from you.
Yeah. Apart from the dance sequences.
Guardians of the Galaxy then.
Yeah, that's played up for laughs though, and that's not. I'll tell you what, lads. Since we've still got a bit of time on our hands here, we've got through our games of the year list. No lists required or anying. Just to be more freeform.
Yeah.
What's the worst stuff you've seen this year?
All of
Platinum End. Here we fucking go. Oh, I fucking hate Platinum End. It can go fucking die.
See, I'm in a weird position this year because I haven't played as much or watched as much as previous years. Well, mostly because, lockdown's no longer a thing. I'm back at work. My free times, I generally watch stuff I think I'm going to like.
Oh,
so for the most part, yeah, I like it. So I haven't seen an awful lot of stuff. Not like last year where I said I fucking hated Spiral. I don't think I've seen anything I've detested as much as that this year.
Like, I think both you and I, Chris, are the same. We don't really choose to watch anything bad because it will probably waste our time. The only thing I'm a bit like that is with anime, because with anime, even if it's bad, I'll start it and I know I will finish it. Because
I'm the same, although there are
some
some series which I just get bored of and drop.
Like, despite everything, I finished Platinum End and I fucking hated it. I think it got to it where I was just doing other things and it was just background because it was that bad. I think on Mao I initially gave it a 6 and it's ended up as a 2, and it's only not a 1 because the animation is decent to a point. It's not amazing, but it's.
I was about to say, you're being very generous giving that a 6.
No, I gave it a 2 now.
No, I meant our first.
Well, that was like the first episode. I was like, hey, it's alright. Nah, it's the fact it's written by the Death Note authors.
Yeah, so everyone would have thought it would have been good.
It's so bad. There's literally someone I have. You know how I sent that Snapchat of my favorite anime? The fact I'd like gone through 58 anime this year, and I had the thing of Platinum End at the bottom, and one of my friends was like, I've just started that anime, and I was like, drop it immediately. It's that bad. Like, it's got a 6 point something out of 10 on Mal, but the top reviews are like 2 out of 10 because it's that bad. It's awful. Doesn't matter that it's anime, it is that shit.
Media is just out there like that.
You know.
Don't think I've played any bad games this year.
Like
I haven't gone out my way to play shit games that I knew out this year.
no.
I was just googling to see what year the Peppa Pig came out, but that was October. That was October last year, so that don't count.
Funny enough, when I went into town on Saturday, Chris, there was someone dressed up as Peppa Pig, and I was like, oh, should I take a picture of them for you? But then I was like, that's a bit weird taking a picture of someone dressed up as Peppa Pig. One, because the person dressed up as Peppa Pig just being like, why the fuck are you taking a picture? That's really weird. And then I thought it'd be weird in the street taking a picture of Yeah, I didn't, but it was weird. It was weird seeing someone dressed up as Peppa Pig in town.
I've got to say though, Peppa Pig was a better game than Paw Patrol on a roll. Christ, that was boring.
Why do you play these?
Because I do these as channel point, like redemption goals on my channel, just for people to fuck with me, and it bloody works.
Do it like a Postman Pat one. I don't know if there is a Postman Pat game. I don't know.
I'm very sure there is a Postman Pat game, and you bastard, you've probably just given them ideas.
His subs, you know what to do.
I'm already doing this week Pokemon Red with only Weedles because I'm a fucking idiot.
As long as you get them all to max level, you should be fine. Until you meet a fire type.
There's no experience share. 6 Weedles. Pray for Spanky. I can't even learn HMs.
No, poison sting. Well, yeah. So how are you going to get to the 7th island?
Well, I'd have to get HM saves. I'd have to. But even that lowers my overall team members. So I'd only have like 4 Weedles rather than a full team of 6. Team of 6 Weedles, yeah. Probably do it. 4 Weedles.
You wouldn't have 4. You have 5.
Oh, it depends. No, because you need multiple ones because you'll need to like flash and surf and yeah. So
is there not anything in Gen 1 that can learn both fly and surf?
Dragonite?
Probably, but then you've also got flash and cut as well.
True, yeah.
There's 5 TMs, and the closest I think is Paris. I think Paris can learn like 3 of them.
I don't like. I'm just like never probably going to play Gen 1 again, so I don't really care.
Oh, I'm bound to play it at least several thousands more times.
Nah. I'm done with Gen 1.
I've been tempting to re-pick up the old Pokemon to do some Nuzlocke as well.
Yeah, I'm currently doing Crystal Nuzlocke, but I'm doing it randomized because why not?
I've done Gen 1 Nuzlocke, and I don't think I'll play it again. If I want to play Gen 1, I'll just play the Gen 3 remakes because they're better. So
yeah, it depends what you want out of it. Like if you want like a different challenge, because the AI in the first gen's so broken. The same challenge run in like Fire Red is not the same as regular Red.
I enjoyed doing my Nuzlocke, but I think by the end of it, I was just like, you know what? I think I'm done playing Gen 1. I think it'll be. I don't think I'll pick Gen 1 up again. Doubt it. I think if I want to play Gen 1, I'll just play the Fire Red and Leaf Green. So, it's got everything I like. So. This is me this is me as a Pokemon fan that says Gen 5 is my favourite generation of games, so that just says it all, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. So. I'll tell you what else I've realised, even though we've mostly said that Elden Ring is the best game of the year, we've mostly talked about Pokemon again.
Well, we spoke about like 2 or 3 episodes all about Elden Ring. What new do we say about Elden Ring this year?
It had the Colosseum
DLC
in this episode.
Yeah, it's had the DLC out, the Colosseum stuff.
Yeah,
it's already out.
Yeah,
it's already out. I have not played it.
The PvP stuff, isn't it?
I've respec my character. I got bored and I decided to respec my character. I now have the Great Sword, and maybe once we finish recording, I might go on for about half an hour and give it a Ash of War and have a go. I played about an hour, nearly 2 hours yesterday, and did a few bosses. So. Yeah,
I'm just gonna hop on Skyrim. That's all I've been playing like non-stop, trying to get the platinum for that.
I remember when we went Wales, and all 3 of us were like, us 2 and our mate were like, oh, we're gonna play Skyrim when we get back. I think I played a little bit and then stopped.
I'm still playing it. I'm hooked. Absolutely hooked.
I've already got the platinum, so.
So here's what I'm thinking with like Game of the Years and stuff like this. Like there's no matter how many games come out, there's always certain games you always come back to.
Oh yeah.
And I can see like myself like playing Shredder's Revenge in like 20 years time, still playing it.
Might be Subnautica.
Like Fire Emblem Three Houses. You know, even though I finished that, I'll probably do a fifth playthrough again. But on a note of games, we have one more episode, and then the next episode. So the second episode is for the viewers, the listeners. The second episode we release in 2023 will be the first episode you hear about a new game, a 2023 game, because in just less than 2 weeks I will be playing a new game. I have pre-ordered it, and I think I've got another 2023 game coming mid-January, so I've got a few games already pre-ordered, and I'm looking forward to them.
I'm waiting for March for Resident Evil 4 and
Oh yeah.
whenever the hell Silent Hill remake comes out. But
Yeah.
that's all I'm really bothered about, to be honest.
I've got Advance Wars Remake, and then, of course, the Fire Emblem Engage. I forgot what it was called then. I was like, what's the new Fire Emblem called?
4 houses,
There is already a fourth house anyway, in 3 houses.
5 houses.
7 houses.
There's already a fifth now as well.
House of the Dragons.
Oh, yeah. Well, technically, that is kind of a thing in 3 houses.
3 houses, House on Haunted Hill.
Because one of the characters is literally a dragon. Spoilers.
How does he fit into the house?
She doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So it's more.
She does, but
So
does,
it's
but-
Fire Emblem outhouses.
no. She has a human form, so
I see.
she's in the human form for the entire game, and it's only in 2 endings where she's not. One makes
that's
sense, and the other doesn't.
So that's a bad ending, right? Because none of her dresses will fit anymore.
Well, she just turns back into a human after.
Yeah, but she would have ripped them if she transforms while she's fully dressed.
It's one of those things where, although she becomes, it's like, oh no, her clothes are still all there. I can't remember what happens. I think, oh no,
We're doing the same logic as the Hawk, where the clothes still fit somehow, I reckon.
probably. Oh wait, no, there is a cutscene where Byleth catches her up. I think she's still in all her clothes, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm sure if it's a Japanese RPG, there's like several spin-off games explaining how the clothes fit.
Yeah.
Although we're getting dangerously into like Kingdom Hearts territory there. They'll make a game explaining it, and it just raises more questions than it answers.
There was a Kingdom Hearts game this year with a dreadful name, whatever it was called.
Couldn't tell you.
I don't really care. I still haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm like, do I even want to at this point?
Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna stream it again very shortly. I'm currently doing the first one. I'm gonna do the second one next week, and I'm gonna go straight into the third one. Third one is really good. Just don't follow the story.
Yeah, that's
Just play it for the gameplay. Play it for the gameplay. Don't follow the story. Christ, you'll have an amusement.
I was about to say, I think it's the fact I started Birth by Sleep and I just didn't like it.
No, that's not the best one.
No.
The spin-off games are touch and go.
I wasn't a big fan of Chain of Memories. That was a slog to get through. I
like the original Chain of Memories, the old GBA one. I think that's far better.
Like I didn't even do the Riku storyline because I couldn't be asked. I think I got halfway through and I just gave up. But then Birth by Sleep, I did one playthrough, but I felt it was really clunky, and I remember I heard things online where it was like, oh yeah, it's basically Kingdom Hearts 0. Yeah, it's really good, and I was just like, I was just trying to blast through it. I started the second playthrough and I couldn't be asked.
Yeah, they're a bit apart from like the mainline 3, they're pretty hard to like sort of blitz through because a lot of them take forever to get started.
I think
even if you like trying to get through it quickly, there are normally like certain hurdles in the way that sort of prevent you from doing that.
Pretty much what happened. I was playing on easy, and then I got to the boss fight, and I just struggled, and I was like, I shouldn't be struggling this much. But I did.
Yeah, I know like certain people who like challenge runs the games, like do like 0 damage runs, and that's insane, frankly. But I've found like even like streaming the first one, I was just gonna go, yeah. I have to be fair, I put it in proud mode, like the harder difficulty. But I was still like, yeah, I'm just gonna do like a casual playthrough, just like not like 100% complete the game, but I kind of have to because you're that weak all the time. It's like, well, I may as well do all the fucking stuff because I need to grind anyway. I may as well go and get everything, which I didn't intend to do.
Oh my gosh, I've forgotten his name. You just mentioned something. What's he called? Let me. Oh yes. When you say like, oh, no challenge, what was it? No hit runs. I was just thinking about Let Me Solo Her for Elden Ring. Yeah. Well, I don't know what more to say.
Yeah, some things need to be wrapped up a bit more. quickly than I thought.
2022 has been a year.
It
Yes.
certainly has. If anything, I'd say it's been like the most 2022 year this year.
We still have spoilers. We are still going to record one more episode this year, but it's for next year. So we still have one more episode to record. But yeah, I can't believe we're right at the end.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, since we're sort of devolved into spitballing here,
Mm.
shall we just say what we might have in store for next year? I've mentioned my chat especially because I've mentioned it and we've been sending a few messages behind the scenes. So we were on about doing an episode discussing game glitches at some point. What else have we got in mind?
I would like to get a guest on, but I don't know who. But that's
it, isn't it?
That is a conversation for the three of us to have privately.
Yes, it is. There is one name that jumps to mind because their podcast finished.
Yes.
I don't know. The thing is, it's hard enough getting three of us together. Never mind, someone at the other side of the globe.
Yeah.
Everyone all in the same room.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I know you want to sort some YouTube stuff out, so that will be a thing.
We
Yeah.
promise we will upload something to the YouTube channel. It's only been 8 months.
I started a PhD this year, so that's not going to help.
No, we're all busy. My hours have increased.
Mine have stayed exactly the same they were over a year ago.
So you're leaving 2022 the same as you were entering it.
I guess. No, a few things have changed, but generally leaving mostly the same. Maybe with a bit more, some more regrets. But then also knowing I've done some good stuff as well. I don't know.
That's life.
Yeah, I guess. I think the one thing I need to learn more is what my friend told me. Funny enough, it's the friend that Brandon and I went to Wales with. He told me that I shouldn't focus on negatives in life, and for all the good things I do, I should focus on them more. Like I do a lot of nice things for people sometimes, but then sometimes I'll do one bad thing and I'll fixate on that way more than the million of good things I do for people close to me. And
Unfortunately, that's just fight or flight response. It's fucking suck.
yeah, I shouldn't I shouldn't focus on that one negative, or and it might not be a good thing that I did this and it wasn't a good thing, and I will feel shit about it, and there's been things where I still been months now, I still feel bad about it, but at the same time I need to try and focus on the good things I do for people in my life, because they are way more important than the bad I do.
Yeah, things move on, life just keeps on going, except when it doesn't. I was meant to have a point here. I don't.
When life gives you onions, remember to watch Victory Achieve podcast or listen to Victory Achieve podcast.
Yeah, kind of on that note, I want to just say thank you for everyone who listened to us this year, especially the people who near enough every episode they are on it. That you are the real G's. Yeah. You are the great people.
You're all lovely people, and you all deserve to go home and play Shredder's Revenge. Yes.
Yeah. I hope you hope you listen to our picks and maybe try some of them out.
What are your picks for the year?
Just let us know your
everyone?
picks for the year.
Yeah, leave it in our socials. You know where we are. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Bookface. Oh no, we can't say on Twitter that we're allowed to repost anything there, can we? Elon says no.
Don't know what's going on with Twitter.
It's more of a clusterfuck.
I know.
It goes on.
I know.
It's like watching a burning car unfold before your eyes.
Pretty much.
Mhm.
But yeah, I as always, I've had a fantastic time hanging out with you every 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, 3 weeks this week.
I know this has been a while. I've felt it. I've really felt it, I must admit. But it's nice that I think it's given me, a little bit more time, especially Pokemon Legends Arceus. I hadn't even played it until yesterday, so I wouldn't have spoken about it today if I hadn't had that extra week. So
Exactly.
and that is a fun game.
Yeah. Whereas I've had an extra week to forget about everything I've done this year.
We always forget about stuff.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Anything you want to say, Brandon?
Not really, except I got 40 pence of dividends today.
I thought you said 41p.
Yeah, well, cost of living, it's really 1 pence gone.
Yes, but after paying tax, you've actually come out with minus 60p.
Actually, here's some financial. Well, it's not financial. Technically, it's not financial advice, but dividends. If you do it through a stocks and shares ISA, they are tax free. Just saying. There you go.
Until
If
you
want
buy
some
something
free
with your money, and then
no,
it is
it's
tax.
perfectly tax free.
What when you go? Not when you go to spend it.
Yeah, it is. It's tax free.
Well.
Honestly, it's madness. But yeah, I will keep you all updated on my stocks and shares adventure for next year because I've just started this year. Dan's also started this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm heavily invested in how you're going to invest your 41p.
Well, I've also got my like Help to Buy ISA. That's doing incredibly well. Actually, quite scary how well it's doing.
That's good. That's really good.
I think it's because I maxed it out at the right time, and then next minute it was like good for me, but then bad for other people in other different ways. Where it's like, oh, we're putting up the interest rate, and it kind of skyrocketed a bit. So I've now got like, and I've just like got a whole load of extra money, and it's ridiculous. And I still got like another 4 months, 4 months. So yeah, 3 months. Yeah, still got another 3 months. So there's still that amount more to go in until I then get to put more money in. So yeah, I'm down for that. I think I know what it will be at least over. Which would be nice. So yeah, no. Well, Brandon and I will be doing the Scarfelt Pike next year. We'll be climbing that mountain.
Yes, I am looking forward to that.
We'll be doing that on the Easter weekend. I am off that weekend, I believe. So we shall be booking that soon. Yeah,
It's gonna be fun.
Chris, what new things will you be trying out in the new year?
I'll probably just be sitting on my arse trying to think of new and impressive ways to lower the tone of my Twitch chat doing stupid ass Pokemon challenges. And maybe a new Elden Ring one as well. Because I haven't done a Souls-like challenge in a little while. So I do have one idea. I don't know how feasible it is. I thought about this time of year, like doing a sort of a kind of festive run in like Dark Souls 3 because it's got like frost magic, like doing a sort of Jack Frost build or something. I don't know. This is it. I just get random ideas pop in my head and say, hey, shall I try and see if I can do that? And then I would play it for like 8 hours and then see if it's feasible or not, and then realise I've wasted my weekend.
You also said you wanted to do some, like, with the both of us, some stuff on Twitch, if I believe that was correct.
Yes, yes. So I think I've got everything that I need. So I thought about doing a live episode of a podcast recording. So we just do it exactly the same as usual, except I'm live on my Twitch channel doing it. So I'll have a camera on me or just on the desktop while we chat, and that's it. We don't need to do like video because I'm not sure the bitrate will handle it, to be honest. But yeah, I could just do like a static image or something.
We shall
I think
see.
we should do that. I think it'll be an interesting one. And then we can do just like take Q&A from people in chat,
Well,
and we'll just answer it live. I think we should start off with like just a couple of topics to get the ball rolling, and then take questions as we go along. I think that'll be fun.
that's all to look forward to. Hopefully in 2023.
Yeah, new and exciting ways for me to completely fuck up.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Can't wait.
as always, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, if you want to, Instagram, which I will be putting more stuff on. I know it's just been the episode stuff. There will be more stuff. Listen to us on Spotify, Anchor, wherever.
What did you just call me?
Audible. What do you say, Brandon?
I thought you said wanker.
No.
What did you just call me?
No.
You can listen to this wanker.
Alright, I know you got wankers cram, but
Top wankers of the year. Go.
Elon Musk. Anyway,
Mistrust.
Yeah.
we hope you have a lovely new year, and you shall hear us in 2023.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Tatty pies. Stay awesome. See you next year.
Have a lovely new year.